And someone used that note to trick Taka. Just to say, the culprit really is a cold-blooded monster. Tell it.
But if they gave the note to Taka, what was Hifumi doing with it? Stuffed down his pants?
Most likely. Hifumi stole it off Taka's corpse after he died.
Where's your proof? Go ahead.
Proof that Hifumi stole.
I got it! When I searched Taka's body, I saw that his lifeless hand was gripping a small scrap of... If I'm right about this, the sheet of paper this piece came... I knew it! It fits perfectly with the note we found hidden on...
Then Taka's scrap...
Yup. They're from the same piece of...
Hifumi had the note meant for Taka, while Taka's corpse still grasped a small piece of that note. There's only one way to explain.
Taka died clutching the note. Hifumi tried to free the note from its death grip, leaving behind only one small scrap. Did I get all that right?
That means Hifumi knew the note was important.
Exactly. Which proves that he was an accomplice in the murder.
Whoa. Yeah. After seeing all this, Hifumi was super involved in this whole thing. In fact, he was behind the whole thing. In fact, he's still alive.
Sorry.
Still alive, my ass.
When I found him in the repository, Hifumi was true. The second body discovery announcement.
So then...
Whoever did is the master.
He was killed in the repository. So he must have been killed.
So he must have been killed after Taka's body vanished. But before we found both bodies.
During that time, we'd all split up and were searching for Taka's missing body. In other words, during that time, none of us have alibi.
Wait! But me and Sakura... Stop trying to steal the spotlight, you stupid wolf! Who are you calling a wolf?
Anyway, when they were killed bothers me too. But there's something that's been bothering me even more.
And what might that be?
The weapon they used to kill Hifumi.
A weapon?
Yeah. Because, I mean, according to the the way Taka and Hifumi were killed was almost the same. But Justice Hammer 3 and 4 were still laying around in the nurse's office. So if Hifumi was killed in the the culprit would have had to grab one of the hammers, then put the hammer back where they found it. But wouldn't that be seriously risky?
I'm surprised. It seems there's some semblance of a brain knocking around that skull of yours after all.
Hell yeah! It's packed in there good.
He's right, though. I don't understand. The Monokuma file makes it clear that they were killed using but if the hammers were already laying around those...
So the question is, how could the culprit have gotten their hands on E? Personally, I haven't. So which hammer was used to attack Celeste? Number 1?
Those were accounted for in other rooms too. And I don't think either one is big enough to...
Is it not possible they used a different...
I don't think it is possible. They were both killed with the same kind of thing.
So then, what was you...
Okay, an argument again. Spotless hammer.
What was used to kill Hifumi? Was it Justice Hammer 3? Maybe Justice Hammer 4?
Well, whatever it was, there's one thing we have to figure out. How was the culprit able to move around so freely with the weapon? How did nobody witness them carrying it? Sounds like a Justice Hammer 5 is about to make its appearance! Check out murdergear.com/hammertime for more info!
Well, one thing seems pretty clear. The murder weapon had to be one of the Justice Hammers!
I think that's it, yeah.
No, that's wrong!
It's not one of the Justice Hammers, but the Spotless Hammer.
The murder weapon wasn't a Justice Hammer at all. No, it was something completely different.
But, seriously? A different weapon?
Specifically, a hammer from the repository. The killer could have easily used that. Now, all the hammers in the repository were covered in flecks of grit and debris, but for some reason, one of them had been scrubbed clean.
Huh?
And the reason it had been scrubbed clean was most likely because it was used to commit murder. If the hammer got covered in Hifumi's blood, of course they'd have to clean it off. I'd also like to point out that the repository has all kinds of hammers. Big ones, and even some flat, mallet-like ones. I think whoever made the Justice Hammers used those as a basis for their design.
If that's true, that would explain the Monokuma file's note about the wounds being similar.
So Hifumi moved Taka's body to the repository, where someone then used a hammer to kill him.
Whoever did that is the true killer. The one Hifumi was working with. And the one who betrayed him. Hold on a moment. I still think it's strange to assume someone was working together with him. The way the graduation rule works, there is no benefit to helping someone else carry out a murder. So the idea that anyone would work together like that is simply ludicrous. We talked about this, did we not?
We did talk about how there wouldn't be any reason for anyone to work together. At least that's what we thought at first, but... oh man, another argument. Okay, that's obviously wrong.
Based on the rules that have been laid out for us, even if more than one person is complicit in the murder, only the one who actually carried out the act can graduate and survive. Assuming the rule holds true, it is simply impossible that two people work together on this.
That is how the rule was explained to us.
But that only really applies if there's one murder, right? In this case, however, there were two murders.
That's wrong.
Shoot!
Based on the rules that even if more than one, only the one who actually carried out, assuming the rule holds true, it is simply impossible that two...
That is.
It's not impossible because
Only really applies
there were
in this
two
case,
murders.
however, there were two murders.
Can we really say there's no chance? Two people working together?
Based on the rules that have been, even if more than one, only the one who actually carried out, assuming the rule holds true.
No, it's wrong.
It's not impossible because it is two murders.
Since there were two murders, it's at least plausible that more than one person was...
What do you mean?
If there'd only been one murder, then yes, the idea of an accomplice isn't really worth considering. Naturally, if only one person can be saved per murder, an accomplice has no risk versus reward.
Risk versus reward benefit?
The payoff for working together. The reward that balances out the risk of taking part in a scheme. There's no point in being someone's accomplice if there's no benefit to you. However, if there were some potential mutual reward for the risk, then cooperation becomes possible.
You're saying that two people could act as each other's accomplices to commit two separate murders.
I think that's what the true killer told Hifumi. They would each have an accomplice for their crime, and based on the case's events, Hifumi would have been the first one to act. Murdering Taka, they made him carry out the first murder so he couldn't back out of helping them later on.
So in this case, there wasn't one single person committing multiple murders. Instead, each person killed someone, creating two separate incidents. And it only looked like one person because that's how the true killer designed it to look. A single suspicious individual, a similar weapon used in each crime, disappearing body. By creating one seamless set of circumstances, they made it look like one person was behind it all.
The mastermind picked their target and managed to convince him to go along with their plan. And then, to avoid the no accomplices rule, they simply killed their accomplice. Which, if true, means that betraying Hifumi was part of the plan from the very beginning.
That's just awful! How could anyone be so cruel?
Well, that's life, Hina.
You think so? I can't help but admire its cunning. Still, their choice of accomplice seems odd.
The effort made to convince us that two murders were the same. That was the main characteristic this time. Kyoko must have noticed the fact from the very beginning, which is why she said not to look at this as a series of connected events, but entirely separate incidents. Kyoko really is amazing, although, when you think about it, she's almost too amazing. Like it's almost unnatural how good she is at this.
I understand how an accomplice could be involved, but then who was the one pulling Hifumi's string?
That's problem numero uno right now!
The true killer manipulated Hifumi to carry out a number of actions, and in the end, murdered him. In the debates up till now, the way the case has unfolded, when you consider all of that, there's only one person who seems to fit. Holy shit. This is the chance, man, because you're obviously the killer. Celeste.
Here's my answer. It was Celeste.
Ah, so I'm the suspicious individual now, am I? I really do hate this kind of joke.
A joke? I wonder.
So what you are saying, then, is that I specifically chose to work together with Hifumi. The idea that I would choose to spend any amount of time interacting with him, that I would go within 10 feet of that shit-brain-fat, lazy, worthless goddamn idiot! Pardonnez-moi.
Just to be clear, there is evidence to support it.
Is that so?
It is. Throughout the investigation, there was certain behavior that was common only to the two of you. Considering what we've learned so far, it only further proves that the two of you were working to...
What is the only Hifumi and Celeste had in common? Encountering the suspicious?
I got it! The behavior they had in common has to do with the suspicious individual in the suit. The only ones who ever actually saw Robo-Justice firsthand were Celeste and Hifumi.
Shush! The adults are talking now.
Sorry.
As he said, only Celeste and Hifumi ever laid eyes on the costumed individual. If we accept that Hifumi was one of the culprits, we can't help but suspect what Celeste has said as well.
Are you saying everything they told us was a lie?
After taking Hifumi to the nurse's office, we all began our search for this individual, correct? And not too long after that, do you remember what Celeste said? We headed to the second floor specifically because of what she claimed to have seen. Next, to draw us all to the physics lab up on the third floor,
She let out a blood-curdling scream.
and when we'd all come to see what was wrong, what was it she said? Once she'd done her job of getting us all up to the physics lab, it was time for her partner to get to work.
It was to get us to divide into two groups, so that we would discover both bodies at the same time?
In fact, Celeste was precisely the one who proposed that we split up. Well, if Celeste and Hifumi were working together, all those chance events suddenly become connected. And on top of that, that piercing cry of yours early on. That was to signal Hifumi, wasn't it?
Ah, so it wasn't just anything. It wasn't just a mere
It
scream.
was your way of telling him, we're on the third floor, everything's going according to plan. Why else would you let out a scream that could have carried across the sea?
I just realized another strange thing. When we found Hifumi in the nurse's office, who we now know was only Celeste, you were the first one to say he'd been murdered. You wanted to make sure we wouldn't have any doubt in our minds.
I don't believe it! Everything...
Hina, you were with Celeste when Hifumi's body disappeared, right?
Yeah? I was feeling kinda sick. Wait! Then that was...
She wasn't worried about you. She just saw a chance to help Hifumi sneak out of the nurse's office.
Each piece isn't much by itself, but start putting them together and the picture gets very ugly indeed. Wouldn't you agree, Celeste?
I have no idea what you mean.
Don't bother trying to deny it. You made one fatal mistake.
Oh, did I?
I didn't even catch it myself when you first said it. Looking back, I can say that that one little slip-up was your undoing.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about what you said after Hifumi's body disappeared and we returned to the nurse's office.
He must be really enjoying this. Enjoying the sight of us standing around, frightened and confused. We're all going to die here. We're going to die, just like those guys died. Ah, why guys?
That too, but I don't understand.
Then pay attention. Sakura, Toko, and I were first to discover Taka's body in the equipment room. Then Makoto showed up and told us Hifumi had been killed. So Sakura and I left with Makoto. Once we were in the hall, we ran into Celeste, and the four of us headed to the now. The entire time we were together, none of us said anything about Taka being dead.
Yeah, how did she know that there's also another body?
Think about it. Celeste's comment doesn't make sense. It was completely out of place.
Yeah, I see what you're talking about. Although I don't really get what it means.
You hear that, Celeste? Everyone's having some trouble understanding. Could you repeat what you said? If you're really not the culprit, you shouldn't have any problem repeating.
Byakuya said that Celeste's comment doesn't make sense. But what is he alluding to? Oh man, another frickin'...
All I said was, they must really be enjoying the sight of us standing around, frightened and confused. They must be positively elated. We are all going to die here. We are going to die, just like those guys died.
Okay. That's wrong. So what's the bullet for this one?
They must really be enjoying the sight of us standing around, frightened and confused. They must be positively elated. We are all going to die here. We are going to die, just like those guys died. And that is all I said.
And that's all it takes to finish this. It's obvious. What was so strange about Celeste's comment?
I don't think that's strange. What she said that she only have known about Hifumi's dead. So, all. With that in mind, what's so strange about what she said? If you can know
All I said was, they must really be enjoying this. Enjoying the sight of us standing around.
I know it's guys, but the bullet. What freaking bullet?
Elated. We are all going to die here. We are going to die, just like those.
Oh, there. Strange. Okay, I got lucky there.
That's right. There's no reason Celeste should have said, just like those guys died. When she said that, none of us had told her Taka was dead.
Exactly. And we didn't run into her until after we were all out in the hall. So there was never any chance for her to have seen his body in the equipment room for herself.
So how did you know, Celeste? How did you know more than one person had been killed? And how did you know they were both guys? Because Kyoko had also disappeared, right? So she could have been dead too.
You all have such vivid imaginations. You know that?
Imaginations?
You claim that I was lying when I told you about the suspicious person I saw. Then what about the picture I took?
Oh man, there's no use in arguing, Celeste. You're the killer.
Villain dragging Hifumi away.
It has to be some kind of setup, right? So let's put the suit on. And then she used the camera's timer to set up the picture.
Have you so quickly forgotten?
Have you quickly forgotten? You're the only one who could have possibly fit in that suit.
Possibly fit into that. Plus, I happen to know that this particular camera does not have a time. In other words, it is an unassailable fact that this is a picture of Hifumi being dragged away. If everything I told you was a lie, how can this picture exist? Simple.
Are we sure that's really a picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi away?
What could you possibly mean by that?
Surely there are other explanations than the one you've offered up.
No, there is no other explanation.
Other explanations? Okay, if it wasn't a picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi away, the only other possibility is Hifumi and the suspect had been drinking, is dragging the suspect away, or dancing. Maybe this one. Oh shit, it's wrong. Frick. Surely can't be. I just embarrassed myself. Okay, that's wrong. I think drinking. Oh yeah, I think that was Hero being dragged because he was drinking. That's why he fell asleep. What? Holy shit. Okay, that was freaking stupid. I just lost 2 lives there.
I got it.
Hifumi was
It's not a
dragging. I
picture
thought
of the
Hero
suspect
was dragging.
Hifumi away. I would say it's a picture of Hifumi dragging the suspect away.
That's certainly within the realm of possibility. The one being dragged off in that picture isn't Hifumi, but the person in the robot suit. We've simply been led to believe that it's the other way around. And the strange costume might only exist to lead us astray even farther. If you saw someone wearing something like that in this situation, of course you'd notice and be suspicious.
That's what happened! You put me to sleep and made me out to be the bad guy in all this!
Such a thing is utterly impossible. Hifumi was dragging him away? Ridiculous.
Is it? I don't think it's ridiculous at all.
Then shut your mouth and
Allow me to educate you. Celeste thinks she can prove that there's no way Hifumi was dragging the suspect away. But is that really possible? Oh man, another argument. Okay, Robo Justice costume, yes, we'll use Robo Justice blueprints.
You dressed me up in that suit after I passed out! Then you just draped me across Hifumi and had him carry my weight! You tried to make me look like the bad guy!
Like I said, ridiculous. As you can see in the picture, the suspect is standing perfectly upright. If the person inside the suit was unconscious, there's no way they could stand up straight like that.
Then the fortune-telling idiot is the culprit after all!
No way!
Okay. If I remember right, Rihina said that she couldn't bend at the waist.
You dressed me up in that suit after I passed out! Then you just draped me across Hifumi and had him carry my weight! You tried to make me look like the bad guy!
Like I said, ridiculous. As you can see in the picture, the suspect is standing perfectly upright. If the person inside the suit was unconscious, there's no way they could stand up straight.
Okay, that's right,
No,
Frank.
that's wrong. No. Even if the person inside the suit were unconscious, they could still stand up like that, because that Robo Justice suit had a certain characteristic.
It cannot bend.
That's right! They totally made a mistake when they made it, so it couldn't bend at the waist.
I'm not so sure that was a mistake. I think the suit was designed from the beginning to be used the way it was.
Celeste and Hifumi took the suit they'd specially designed and stuffed Hero into. That's how they were able to fake that whole thing. The point of it all was to make us believe whoever was in the suit was to blame.
Well then, I suppose this is checkmate.
Checkmate?
Oh man, Celeste, there's no use.
Don't make me laugh, you idiot! What do you mean, checkmate? Celeste? Clearly! You want to cram me into your little guilty box? Well, there's one little problem.
Have you already forgotten what Hifumi told us as he lay dying?
Yeah, about that. Why
When
did he
asked
tell
him who had
Yasuhiro?
attacked him, his answer was quite clear. He said, and I quote, Yasuhiro.
In other words, Yasuhiro Hatakura!
Wait! But my name isn't really Yasuhiro! It's actually Taro!
Your confusing statements don't make any sense. You're only making,
You're only
things,
making
more
things more
complicated.
complicated.
He did say Yasuhiro, but are we sure he was really pointing the finger at Hiro?
What the hell are you talking about? I'll burn you alive!
Kyoko, What do you mean by that?
Think back to how Hifumi used to talk to us. How did he refer to each of us?
He said for serious. He said... I think last name.
I got it! That's right! Our last names! He called us all by our last name!
Exactly. I know I heard him say Mr. Naegi more than once, for example. So if Hifumi did mean to say Hiro's name, he would have said his last name.
I'm sure it was just incidental. By chance, his first indecent?
Don't talk.
Random chance. Now isn't that a convenient explanation? No. There's no reason to think he would have said the name any different than, but he must have run out of energy before he could say any more.
So Hifumi was trying to tell us the last name of whoever killed it?
But the name he said doesn't apply to anyone.
Well, no. Hold on. There's one person it could apply, and that's Celeste. She never actually told us what her real name is.
What did you think? You take your false accusation so far, I don't know whether to laugh or come on! Enough with your idiotic blather. Yasuhiro is a loser's name. Do I look like a what? I think I've earned the right to be a...
Okay, then fill us in. What's your real name?
Make sure your ear holes. My real name is Celestia Ludenberg. Could you please stop making me repeat?
Celeste won't give up, so then I have to do something about her to make her accept it. We're gonna do battle. Oh shit, another argument. E-Handbook. I think it's e-Handbook.
Hifumi was trying to tell us something. He wanted us to know the killer's last name.
Yes, but there's one person here who might have that last name.
It would have to be you, Celeste. You haven't told anyone what you're...
How many times do I have to tell you? Name.
We need the handbook.
God damn it!
How long do you plan to go on pretending?
I'm not pretending. It's the truth. And since you have no way to contradict me...
That one. That's the nail in the coffin.
That's it! The handbook!
What?
Anytime you turn your handbook on, it shows the owner's name when it boots up. Monokuma told us all about it before.
There's no running around now.
So all we have to do is check her handbook, and that's how we can find out Celeste's real name.
That's an invasion of privacy. I refuse to cooperate.
Celeste, can you please just tell us what really, please? Just tell her.
Even when I'm put in check, it's just my nature not to give up because until the game's over, you never know what might happen.
Fine then. Let me settle. Let me go over the case again, from the beginning, and that'll bring everything to an end.
Frick. Okay. Celeste met with Yasuhiro, they talked. They agreed. And then... Holy shit, this is hard. Okay, they went there, Yasuhiro then. He got... They put him in this one, they took a picture. It was 6. Hifumi killed Taka. One... I don't think it was 1 AM because 1 AM was for Yasuhiro. And then Hefumi killed Taka. Holy shit, I forgot about the hammer, frick! What was it? Oh no, it's... it would be 3, hammer 3. Or hammer 4, what the frick? I know Taka killed with hammer 4. Put in hammer 2. Holy shit. Okay, let's try this.
Here's exactly what happened. Before anything, the killer persuaded someone to help carry out the murder. And that person...
Okay, Hefumi, that's correct.
Hifumi, with an accomplice. The killer was able to execute it.
Okay, 1 AM, it's correct, nice. Yasuhiro came.
First, they convinced someone to meet them in the rec room.
And then they drugged him.
That someone they met with was Hiro. The murderous duo intended... They drugged him, knocked him out, and stuffed him into the
They took a picture. Okay, I'm correct there. Nice.
Next, Hifumi positioned himself to make it look like Robo-Justice while the killer used a digital camera to take pictures of the... They did all this just to create evidence that would put the suspect... When they were done with him, they shoved him, still unconscious.
Okay, then 6 AM for Taka.
And then finally, at 6 AM, they moved into the murder phase of their plan. They called Taka to the equipment room.
Then Hefumi killed him with Justice Hammer 4. I don't think Justice Hammer 2 is correct.
Hifumi killed him, making it the scene of the first murder.
Ah, frick. Shit, I got 2 lives. I think it's Justice 4.
Here's exactly what happened. And that's where Hifumi killed him.
Okay, nice, correct.
The
Justice Hammer 4.
was Justice Hammer 4, which was left there in the equipment room. The reason Hammer number 4 was used was to create confusion about the order of the... So, next they falsified 2 more. For these attacks, the killers pretended to be the victims. The first fake incident was the attack in the wreck there. The killers wanted us to see Justice Hammer 1. And the
frick, it's Justice Hammer 2.
They wanted to make sure we bought the surprise attack. The second fake incident was the attack. This time, they planted Justice Hammer 2. And with these 2 incidents, the killers were able to create a certain preconception that the suspect was increasing the size of the hammers, and we fell right into their trap and started looking for the suspect.
Oh, frick. Shit, one more. It should be 2, maybe. Maybe it's a bag there. No, this is correct, man. It's okay, okay, I'm gonna die here, so... It's because of this freaking Justice Hammers, man.
The killer is you!
Okay.
So, next for these, it's the first there. They wanted to set this time with these 2 incidents that the suspect was in Krefeld.
Oh, nice.
While we did that, we left Hifumi alone in the nurse's office. This was exactly what Hifumi was hoping for. He took a blood packet from the refrigerator and turned the room into a crime scene, in which he himself
Okay, that's correct.
had
Nice.
been brutally murdered. He let out a scream to draw us back, and when we... Meanwhile, the other group that had been out searching found Taka's body, so when we heard the body discovery announcement, we naturally assumed it was for... We left the nurse's office, and Hifumi once again he simply got up and made his escape. When we learned his body had disappeared, we all and once again, Hifumi had the chance he was waiting for. This time, he wrapped Taka's body in a tarp and used the dolly to move it all the... That explains how each of the bodies disappeared. But even Hifumi didn't know what the true killer had in mind for...
And then he got killed
Their plan
with a spotless
all along was
hammer.
to kill Hifumi and get rid of the one person who could betray. And they did it using an ordinary, everyday hammer from the repository. That should cover everything that happened in this case.
And that was Celeste.
Celeste! Sorry.
I lost? When was the last time I was forced to utter? They hang heavy around my neck.
Then you admit it? You're the killer?
Listen to you, trying to take charge, as if you're my bride. Celestia Ludenberg. Taiko Yasuhiro is fine.
Ah, there, she admitted it.
So, you finally accepted.
I'm the kind of person, once I've lost, I don't like things to drag on.
Interest.
Oh man, it's her punishment now.
Okay, Monokuma.
I'm ready to begin.
Or, no, I suppose this is the
This
end.
is the end.
It is indeed the moment we've all been waiting for. Time to vote. If you would, please locate your lever and when the votes are tallied, will you make the right choice or the dreadfully wrong one? What?
Oh man, I wonder what her punishment is. Celeste Ludenberg. It's basically a formality at this point, but once again, you're totally correct. The black and this time, the true killer who devised the whole stinking scheme was Celestia Ludenberg, or more precisely, Taiko Yasuhiro.
Honestly.
I lost. Well, that sucks. I guess trying to work with someone else was a mistake after all. Hefumi's aptitude was beyond all my calculations.
I knew it.
So you really did approach Hefumi with this plan. But how did you get him to agree? I can't imagine he would have happily agreed to commit murder. I'm sure she relied on her specialty, lying. My specialty? Don't make me laugh. I didn't have to lie to get him to agree.
So
Then, did you use, I knew you'd figure it out, Kyoko. You're absolutely right to get Hefumi to act as my accomplice. I used her. For everyone else who's still left, I'll avoid mentioning by name, but it was the one thing that Hefumi and Tako were both super into. Does she mean? She's talking about the alter ego.
Say what?
Oh, what was that? What are you talking about?
just a second.
Don't interrupt. We're in the middle of a very important conversation here. I'm totally out of the loop as usual. How
In
sad.
other words,
Then you're the one that stole it.
Indeed.
That's right.
I see.
And you used it to drag Hefumi into the plan he'd come up with. Right again. Last night, after we had our meeting about how he disappeared, I paid Hefumi a little visit. What are you doing here?
Actually-
I was hoping I could talk to you alone. Is it about what was stolen? And who? I know who did it. What?
Are you okay with this?
It was Taka. He stole it. Ah,
So
and I
then,
have proof. Would you like to see it? As it turned out, I'd found a use for the digital camera. I'd taken you-know-what to Taka's room earlier and took pictures of it there. I deleted the picture as soon as I'd shown it to Hefumi, of course.
Damnation!
So it was him. But how did he do it? She was supposed to yell if either of us to get close to her. You're correct, which is why Taka forced me to steal it.
Say what?
as for me,
Please forgive me. He threatened me.
Oh.
He did?
as for me,
He came to my room last night unannounced, and then it's hard for me to even say. He abused me.
What?
And he took pictures. He said if I did not do as he asked, he would show them to everyone. So I had no choice.
Damnation!
That's a crime. An absolute crime. I know he'd gone a little crazy, but I never imagined he would go that far. It was amazing how completely he bought it. I can't express how much enjoyable that was. I'm about to say something I've never said before in my life. I'm going to kill him. I'm going to effing kill him.
most
Wait, please, if
unfortunate.
you go now, you'll be playing right into his hands.
Actually,
Taka is planning to use her to escape, as he has made you his target.
What?
Escape? What do you mean? Taka is trying to kill you,
indeed.
and also he can keep her to himself. That bastard. Bastard.
Honestly,
Can we allow him to continue with this barbaric act? Absolutely not. How could I?
I swear I will save her!
actually,
Then would you like to join me? It just happens I have come up with a plan. I have devised a way to reclaim what he has stolen and escape his dreadful school. And with that, it is complete. What are you talking about? Oh, nothing. Hefumi agreed without a second thought. The effect that item had on him was remarkable. The power of love. Even a love as twisted as that can still drive people mad, it would seem. You disgust me.
see.
I have another question for you. Was that strange costume Hefumi's creation?
indeed.
Yeah, it was a real pain in the butt too. All I asked him to do was make something to hide the face and general body size. I had no idea he'd make something like that, but it's my fault for picking him in the first place.
But
So why'd you decide to make me the suspect? Because you're stupid. That's it?
Let's see.
And in that regard, I made the right choice. I'm so glad your stupidity surpassed my very expectation. Life must have been tough on your parents though. I feel like I could cry. But when you were explaining your plan to Hefumi, how did you explain the part about him playing dead? What she's asking is, what was Hefumi supposed to do after that? Assuming you had actually let him live.
Are you okay with
That's simple. After he did his part and pretended to be dead, when someone showed up, I told him to say he'd been seriously wounded. He was on the verge of death, but he just barely held on. And you really believed that? Well, of course, that wasn't all there was to it. As explained as to Hefumi, the plan was, while you were all questioning him about what happened to him, I was going to murder someone else. At that point, Hefumi would have an alibi, so nobody could doubt him. I told him that, and he believed it. It all seems very straightforward, stereotypical. I just matched the lie to the level of the opponent. In fact, Hefumi ate it up. He believed the lie wholeheartedly, right up until the moment of his death.
So in the end...
So you had planned to kill him all along. But of course, there would have been no point to plan if the one who pretended to be dead did not end up dead himself.
What the heck?
How can a human life mean so little to you? That's not an issue. I simply did everything in my power to win.
Don't be mean.
Now you sound like Byakuya.
I wonder about
Now
that.
he derives his pleasure from thrill of the hunt. In that aspect, we are nothing alike.
Why?
Then what made you think this far?
What the heck?
Was it really just for money? Are you talking about the $10 million Monokuma offered us? That is a lot of money, it's true. But that's not all there is to it. From the moment our life here began, my only thought had been escape. But all along you've been saying how we have to accept living here.
You little bitch.
Obviously that was a lie.
Hey!
I couldn't take it. I hated it from day one. More than anyone else in here.
You little bitch.
I wanted to get out. Every day was fresh torture. And do you know why, huh?
This is fine.
Because I had a dream, and accepting a life here would mean nothing less than giving up on my dream forever.
Honestly.
There was no way that I could ever do that. In the underground world of gambling, I risked my life to make a metaphorical killing.
As for me,
And it was all for the dream. That was the dream. And what was the dream of yours?
isn't it wonderful?
To live in a European castle. A castle? To gather handsome men from all over the world to serve as my butler/bodyguards. I was going to make them dress up like vampires and satisfy my every need. Once I obtained that, I would have created a perfectly aesthetic world of decadence.
This is fine.
Living the rest of my life there was only my dream, my only goal. That's what life is all about. Combined with my own winnings, Monokuma's $10 million would have made that dream a reality. I got right to the edge,
There
but
is nothing to be
unfortunately, my dream had been scattered to the wind. Still, I don't have any regrets. I pursued my dream till the very end, so why would I?
Just the worst.
You sound so passionate, but you were really able to kill your own friends for it?
Oh,
Are you asking me to feel guilty? It's a pointless endeavor. I think nothing of sacrificing others for my own needs. I feel
do
nothing.
you
That's
understand?
all there is to it to me. That's what makes me complete. Isn't it terrifying how different our values are? There's simply no room for understanding.
What is this?
That's what we should be saying, and plus, how can you be so calm? Don't you realize you're about to die? Why aren't you scared? My ability is to lie unrivaled, and I take pride in that. It's not just other people, I can even fool my own emotions. The conscious deceivedness and consciousness. And that's why you're not scared.
Yes, indeed.
That's right, I don't fear death. Kill me however you like. But you know, if I could be reincarnated, if I had a choice, then
Isn't it wonderful?
I think I would like to come back as Mary Antoinette.
Hey.
You just get executed again. Celeste smiled then, and when she did, it looked to me like a poor effort to force it. She claimed she could fool her own feelings, but that statement itself must have been her final lie, and that weak, fake smile is what betrayed her.
Chills! Chills! Kills!
You all done, okay? Then let's get rolling. The blackened disturbance, the peace, and you must pay the price. Now then,
I
I've prepared
a very special punishment.
the ultimate
Let's
gambler.
give it everything we've got.
I guess I'll let Kyoko hold on to this. What?
This is
Will it really give
will
you
it
the
really
hope
give you the hope you're looking for? I can't
I
say
can't
I ever saw it that way.
Which is why, actually,
It's not important.
Well then, take care, everyone. Perhaps we'll meet
Perhaps
again.
we'll meet again
In another
in another life. Oh man. Goodbye, Celeste. I think she's gonna be burned. Burned at the stake. Ah, yeah, the witch. Burned to death. Man, I think Mundo was the one who was lucky to have died instantly. I don't know, it wasn't instantly, but I think I'd prefer that rather than burning and that baseball bat. Baseballs. I'm freaking, there's a fire truck ramming her down. It's over. The third execution is over. Celeste's death is over. Celeste killed my friend, so I can't pity her. But I also can't deny that at one point I considered her a friend too. And for him to just come along and... Isn't it just awful? Someone couldn't cut free of the regrets from the outside world, and so more people had to die. You guys are still young, you need to place more values on your lives.
What are you gonna do?
And here I thought you guys were gonna pass the torch of hope to the next generation.
Let me out of here!
What do I care about hope? I'll throw it in the trash if you just let me out of here.
Too bad.
You're all embodiment of hope, whether you like it or not, and it's my destiny to knock you down one by one. And it's sad, yes it is, but reality just can't be avoided. Don't talk like you're not responsible. How long are you gonna make us keep through this? What do you want from us? God, I'm so sick of people asking me that. Give it a rest already. So anyway, Kyoko, did I see get some kind of key object from Celeste?
Hey!
So what's the deal with that?
What?
What's the matter?
So then...
I'll answer your question if you answer mine. What did you do? What did you do to me?
Ooh.
Hey,
Answer me. What did you do to my body? What?
Ooh, how exciting.
What do you mean? What did I do? I have no idea. I don't know anything about it. What was that just now? The mastermind did something to Kyoko's body? What does that mean?
Hello.
Okay, things are getting awkward. I think it's about time to get out of here.
Well,
Enjoying your school life. If you get lonely, give me a shout.
see ya later.
Monokuma disappeared, leaving us all depressed and in despair. Although it wasn't all despair, there's one small hope. Hey Kyoko, Monokuma already mentioned it, but what's the key that Celeste gave you? Most likely, it's the key to one of the dressing room lockers. What? That means Celeste probably hid it there.
Hey,
I suppose sometimes it's easiest to miss what's right beneath your nose. Well then, we better go check. Good idea. We left the courtroom and rushed to the dressing room. As we approached the dressing room, Kyoko looked back at us and said,
hey,
I'm going to go on alone from here. Everyone else head to the dining hall. I'll check with you later.
What?
Why exactly are you going alone?
so...
Do you even have to ask? As she spoke, she glanced quickly at the surveillance camera.
Come on.
That's not what I mean. Why you? There's still a risk of spy, you know. And I'll go too.
What?
Please let me go. Standing here arguing is just going to draw more attention to us.
Goodbye.
Do whatever you want. Thank you, Byakuya.
well then.
Then it's up to you now.
Yo!
I'm gonna go to the dining hall, okay? So Makoto and Kyoko are gonna go together? Does that mean what I think it's me?
Okay.
What the kid? Good luck, Makoto. Girls like her are total pushovers when you show a little backbone. I tried to forget what Hina said. Everyone headed to the dining hall, leaving me, Kyoko, there alone.
Shall we go? So then...
We need to get into the locker. Kyoko took the key Celeste had given her and locked the clock. It's safe, thank goodness. I never heard Kyoko feel so relieved. I did what Celeste asked. I didn't say a word. I stayed quiet the entire time. I think I might be able to open the last set of files soon, maybe as early as tomorrow. I'm doing my best, so please wait just a little longer. As far as the incident is concerned, sure, but can we take a second? Since we have this opportunity, I want you to be honest with me. Please tell me, what are you trying to do all this on your own here at the school?
However...
That's not something you need to know right now. I don't need to know? That just makes me even more worried. Worried? When we didn't see you again, without warning, without explanation.
Indeed.
It's only natural to think I'm a mastermind spy, right? And you too. No.
What?
I believe in you. Oh man, he likes her. Because we're friends. I understand.
It's true.
Just a little bit more, then
That's fine.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you what I've been disappearing and where I've been going. Blew my mind. Right after that, I told Kyoko I believe in her. So I waited for nighttime to come, and when it did, I went into action.
Correct.
The boys' bathroom on the second floor doesn't have a surveillance camera or monitor in it, and in a storage closet there, way in the back. She said it was way in the back of the boys' bathroom storage, but could Kyoko really be right about this? I wonder what that is.